Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
All right, we're now at public comment. At this time, any person may address a matter within the jurisdiction of the City Council, Housing Authority, successor agency to the Cajon Redevelopment Agency that is not on the agenda. Comments related to items on today's agenda are to be taken at the time the item is heard. State law prohibits discussion or action on items that are not on the agenda. However, City Council and Housing Authority members may briefly respond to statements or questions, and an item may be placed on a future agenda. Angela, do we have any cards under public comment?
We have 9 speakers.
9.
The first one is Sunshine Horton.
Ms. Horton, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am not going to deal with what I've been dealing before, the person, Mr. Ben Calacio. The only thing that surprised me is that he took a picture of the dog and him. What about the family? But who knows? Anyway, I'm here to tell you I have a brand new, professionally made elf outfit. And you know who started that, me being an elf? When Stoney had his bank on Main Street or something, that's when I started. And he's the one that, for him, I loved it. And I started being an elf, and I was everywhere. And now everybody wants me because the Marines, the police, and everybody. And then the other day I went to buy my ears, and I'm walking into Gypsy Treasures, and this guy says, "You're the elf." And I go, "Yeah? Why?" He says, "We've been looking for you, KUSI and this and that." And I said, "Well, I finally got my new outfit and that we need you." So he gave me his number and I gave him his. You know why I do all these things? Because to me, life is something wonderful. And too many people right now are involved in negative. There's wars, there's hate, there's all kinds of stuff like that. And I don't have time for that. I can see there's more signs here because of hate. I don't have time for none of that. Because the people, they are wrong, like somebody I know, I cannot help them. Because some people just go through one ear and it goes out the other. But I have my heart for everybody because we are born in this world to make life easier for others. And that's my deep belief. Whether it's a quarter, a good morning, or you look nice, or just any little thing, believe me, you don't know how much your spirit gets lifted. Sometimes you feel like, "Oh my God, what a day, and look at me." But then you focus on what is pretty, and you go, "Oh my God." So I have become a lot of friends like that because when I do it from my heart, because to me, that is what life is about. Because when I die, people might remember me for the things I did for them, not because I was a millionaire. So I want everybody to come together and think of the good that we can do for everybody. So thank you so much, and you're going to see a new elf.
Yeah, when do we see the new elf costume?
Whenever you want. It's ready.
I'm
Next meeting?
Okay.
Okay.
It's a little early, but you know what? There are no rules. You can do it next meeting, or we can wait till Christmas. So it's up to you.
Yeah. So I'll finish the boots and I'll come next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dolores Landers.
Hello, ma'am. Welcome.
Mayor Wells and council members, I think I took the wrong day to come to the meeting. Our neighborhood has been dealing with the problem since 2016, 2017, 2018. We've contacted code enforcement, zoning, the Sector 8 Police Division, and on April 1st, I mailed Diane Jacobs regarding violations of Title 17, and she responded on April 17th. And I'll read from her letter what she said. Since the property in question falls under the jurisdiction of the City of El Cajon, I have taken the liberty of forwarding your email to Mr. Bill Wells, Mayor of El Cajon, so he can review your comments and respond directly to you. I have not heard anything since then.
Can you tell me what the problem is? Because I don't remember the letter. I'm sorry.
Okay. We have a house on Helix View Drive. I can make it very simple, and I want to give you these documents.
Sure.
The violations are that he has cars all over the lot. He is fixing cars in the middle of the night. And if you have a son who's a Gulf War veteran with 70% PTSD, and he's taking lug nuts off at 12:30 at night.
Sure, I get that, yeah.
And you call the police department, and the police department on Section 8 says, well, maybe they have a business license to work on the cars. Second of all, I called Julie in the code enforcement, and she says, yes, we've given him citations, and he can get up to 5 citations. We're giving him time to clean his property of cars. The cars are still there. They come during the night. Because his property is so filled with cars, he is now parking on a no parking zone. Helix View Drive, before you even enter it, said roads narrow, which means the first part before Midway, you can park, but you can't park past Midway and Helix View Drive. Years ago, about 15 years ago when his kids were small, we had a 5-alarm fire because his kids were playing with fireworks. They didn't throw it on his property, and I do have pictures of the fire that I took. My house is almost directly above the hill from his house. Now, I guess the question is, since this has been going on, he's parking in no park zones. I have a car. I even have the license plate. What is going to happen? What are you going to do about it?
It looks like you brought some documents with you, right?
Pardon me?
Looks like you brought some documents with you.
Yes, I did.
What I'd like you to do is give the documents to Angela, and she's going to give them to that gentleman, Vince, there. Vince, will you raise your hand?
Okay.
And Vince is going to contact you, and we're going to figure out a solution to this one way or the other. And let's take a stab at trying to find a solution. And did you leave your information as to how to get hold of you?
Yes, everything's there.
I'll give you a call, and if we need to meet and talk, we can do that. And the city will do everything we can to help you within the law. And let's see how we can do, and then go from there.
Okay, one other thing. I advise all you councilmen, after this meeting, take a ride up at Helix View Drive. You can't miss it. And if there's a fire between Midway and Helix View Drive, all the people who live in the cul-de-sac cannot get off the hill. Thank you.
And please convey to your son our thanks for all that he's done for us.
Okay, thank you.
Carol Sheehan.
Hi, Ms. Sheehan. Welcome.
My name is Carol Sheehan. I've lived in El Cajon for 29 years. I never had in the past been really involved in local politics, which is not something to brag about, but I'm finding it's getting more and more important. I never went to a city council meeting until I came to some of these in El Cajon, and it really is kind of disturbing. And I'm speaking in support of Ben Calacio. I can't believe the bias, the negative bias towards him by all of you over time. I believe Ben has been slandered. He's been lied about. He's been given no support from other councilmen. I think Ben's got good ideas, and I think he's a man of action and will do something about them. And I don't have anything planned to say. He's the only councilman I've ever called that responded almost immediately. You call, Ben, there's some graffiti on this wall. The next day, the graffiti was gone. He's the only councilor that I know of that has had town hall meetings, addressed the citizens and answered their questions, and gave their ideas about what needed to be done. He's visited our neighborhood and helped us get a neighborhood watch program going, and introduced himself and talked to all the neighbors. And I just find it unfortunate what's going on in terms of the election, the slander, and all of that. It's really kind of disturbing. And that's it.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Jim Sirigliano.
Well, sir, welcome.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, staff, just real quickly about the rent mediation process. We will be having mediation on November the 9th, 9 a.m., right here in the city offices. And thanks to Tony Shute and to the city manager's office that they're making this available to us. And I'll give you the update when finally, hopefully at the next city council meeting. And the results of that are going to go out to all the other parks in El Cajon. Okay, we're making a lot of contact with all the senior parks and all the other parks within the city limits of El Cajon. So this is going to go out, this information for them, and hopefully it'll encourage them to do what we've done so far. Okay, and then moving on, watch my time here. I did obtain Form 700 and 460, and I'm going to just directly speak to Form 460, which is contributions received by those running for office. And two of them that I want to highlight immediately is my own park, Villa Novia, the ones that we're contesting about rent stabilization and doing the rent mediation about. Mr. Mayor and Councilman Kendrick, they've both contributed $3,500 to your campaigns. And I find that a little bit odd. I can't stop it from happening, but this very park I live in has done this. And there's another park in the neighborhood also that I know $1,500 each. To you, Mr. Mayor, to you, Councilman Kendrick. And I can't go too much into that. Speaking of Mr. Calascio, I do want to remind people, and I said it at the last meeting, the very Judge Taylor who had brought all these charges against Councilman Calascio has recused himself after all these months of bringing these charges. And I haven't heard any follow-up by media or anybody else about this here. I even have called Channel 7 to follow through on their coverage at 2 council meetings ago. And I think, like this Carol, I believe your name was, seniors vote. I think that the city council, for the most part, has become very complacent. And every time I come here, I feel like I'm just being patronized. Nothing gets done. There's a lot of good people who come up here with important issues. And that's why I will support Councilman Calascio and Joel Scalzetti for mayor. And I thank you for your time. Did that pretty good, right on time. Thank you.
Eric Durden.
Mr. Durden, welcome.
How you guys doing today? It's my first time speaking, first council meeting.
You're doing fine.
I live in Fletcher Hills, right up the hill, so basically I'll just be speaking to Mr. Calascio and Mr. Kendrick, because that's the district. First and foremost, it's just, I'm the younger generation, so like we're just surrounded by all this negativity that's going on, and when I drive around El Cajon, all I see is signs being graffitied and signs laying on the floor and crossing out faces, and then when I come home from work, I get slanderous material that's like that has people in devil horns and stuff, and it's just like, what are you doing that's positive? Are you want us to live in a negative state? This is ridiculous. We're supposed to bring positivity into the world, and this is kind of like, my thing is, it's kind of like with Hillary and Trump. Hillary was trying to just be negative, and nobody was talking about their merits and their ethics and what they're going to do. Everybody was just trying to slander the next person, and it didn't work for Hillary, and it's not going to work for either of you. You know, it's just not, it's not good. And, you know, it's kind of getting old. And I don't know if anybody else feels that way here, but, I mean, I'm about the issues. The issues are what matters. What are you going to do that's good for El Cajon? Not just because I'm better than this guy, that makes me the best candidate. I haven't seen anything about you, Mr. Kendrick, about what's anything positive. If you have anything that you've done that I don't know about, I'm asking you a question here. If you've done anything without just the council, just on your own merits, because I have, right here, it has stuff that I got in the mail about Mr. Calascio and stuff that he's done, but I haven't seen anything from you that's positive. All I hear about is negative attacks on the news and everything. I'm just asking you a question. What have you done that's positive or makes me want to vote for you as a positive person?
Mr. Kendrick, maybe you can speak to this gentleman outside the council chambers. This is not an area for campaigning.
Yeah, I think absolutely everybody has their right to come up and make any kind of statement you want, but to get into an election debate. Well,
it's not necessarily an election debate. It's more of along the lines of I hear negative and stuff.
I hear what you're saying, but it's probably not the right time for that.
When is the right time?
Well, you could make an appointment with Councilman Kendrick and meet with him.
That's very true, but I'm right here right now, and I mean, I'm pretty sure other people would want to know what's positive and what's something that they can do that's, instead of being slanderous and being negative. If I'm going to cast my vote for somebody, I think I would like to know, you know, what positive contributions they're going to do for El Cajon.
That's the great thing about elections. In about 30 days, you get to make your vote, and everybody else will. We'll see who wins.
But I want to know what is that you can do. What is something positive you can do? And I mean, I know I'm going over time now, but I did ask questions, so I was.
Yeah, I think the answers, our city attorney gave us advice not to get into that, and I think you're just not going to get into that here. But you know, I appreciate your opportunity. You came up and made your point, and so be it. That's fine.
So I'm not getting any answers today? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I don't think it's appropriate.
Mr. Durden, you want to get answers based on the campaign
I just
promise.
want to know what's
let me speak, please. You want answers from Mr. Kendrick based on a campaign.
And Mr. Calascio.
If you'll let me speak, please. You want answers from these two candidates, apparently, about what they've done for the city. You should be asking them outside of this council chambers. This is not the appropriate forum for campaigning by either of these two gentlemen. So please.
It's not necessarily campaigning. I just want to know.
Okay, you keep interrupting
instead of being negative.
I think you're through. I've made my point. You can't ask. They can't answer the questions during the council meeting.
Council, let me just explain a little bit more. What he's saying is it would be really inappropriate for us to use this time to start campaigning. And because I could talk to you for 45 minutes about the great things Gary's done for the city. I could talk to you for 46 minutes about the great things I've done for the city.
That's between you. I can see right here on this forum that you guys are with each other.
What I want to tell you is,
Mr. Calascio,
it's not.
Or are you just campaigning for your buddy now? Because I can't.
You're
campaigning for him right
now.
What I'm trying to say is it would be inappropriate for me to use this time to try to win an election. We got to do city business right now. So we're not going to comment on those things.
But you just commented on how you can speak for one candidate, but you can't speak for another one positively.
Mayor, I would suggest you just stop.
Yeah, I think.
Quit while you're ahead. I got you. No worries. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And Andrew Raisling.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, welcome.
El Cajon resident, relatively new. I haven't been here 60 years. But about the similar lines, been trying to pay attention to the local events going on, and it's a little disturbing. There's videos of Mr. Kendrick's son, I believe, driving around in a golf cart and dropping off slanderous material and littering slanderous material all over, I guess, the Fletcher Hills area, which is, that's not where I live, I guess, so I guess it's okay if they litter there and drop off bad material there. I guess there was some kind of pictures depicting Mr. Calascio as a devil worshiper when he's wearing a masquerade ball event, trying to generate charity funds for, I believe it's homeless and seniors, which it seems like a pretty good thing to do. I guess devil worshiping is not so bad if they're giving money to the elderly and the vets, if you are such. What else do I have here? I guess my question, and I guess we're not answering questions today, but if you knew this was happening, that's obviously bad. I don't believe that should be done. If you didn't know about it, was there anything done about it after the fact? And then back to what this gentleman was stating about the signs being defaced. It really makes this town look, well, I guess, worse. There's no other way to describe it. Every time that anyone's running for a political position, there's going to be signs up, and most of them are pretty nice, but when you start defacing them, it doesn't make this town look any better. It's hard to sell someone on coming to live here or do business here, because I own businesses. And it's kind of hard to say right now I live in El Cajon, because the people that are not helping us keep this town moving forward and getting better. So thank you for my time. I'm going to end early. Ladies, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Bonnie Price.
Hi, Bonnie. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I want to say I am very disturbed that you have sat up there and listened to people who are afraid of losing their homes, meeting after meeting, and then you take money from those who are taking their homes. I got a copy of the monetary contributions received for Gary Kendrick. It's over $11,000 from the mobile home parks in El Cajon, and I understand, Mayor Wells, you have an equal number or more. This is terrible. You are engaging in an immoral act. These people have worked their entire lives to have a home. Many of them are older women who did not get money equivalent to men. They outlive men, and they're living on less and less of their Social Security because more and more of it has to go to pay the rent. This is just, and when they cannot pay the rent, we've heard time and again, people come in here and say, I can't pay the rent anymore, I have to leave my home, and then the mobile home park owners rent their homes and they do not get any money from it. So there you are in your places of public service, further victimizing people who've already been victimized. It's elder abuse. If you don't want to own it, don't take the money. Thank you.
Jamie Freitas.
Council.
Well, sir, welcome.
I want to bring to your attention, which you probably are already aware, but we have a crisis issue with our police department. Currently, you don't have enough staff to safely and proactively protect our city. You're losing staff at a rapid rate to the City of Carlsbad, Sheriff's Department, many other departments that pay more. You guys spend a lot of money on training these officers, and basically you're preparing them to go to other agencies due to the fact that they're being overworked. You're so short on staff that the cops are being burned out, and you're losing them due to the fact that after a time they realize that they can go to work for another agency and work less and get paid more. I know it's election season, and I know talk can be cheap during this time, but please make a true effort to pay these men and women the money they deserve, and to keep, that they deserve, and we the people get the police service that we deserve. That's pretty much it.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks.
We have two more speakers, Mayor. The next one is Denise Riddle.
Hello, welcome.
Hi, I'm an El Cajon native. I was born and raised in what was this beautiful city. As you know, I came to many, many city council meetings very upset that my mother was mugged in broad daylight doing her laundry on Hamishaw. And I got no sympathy, no results from that. Her muggers did not spend a day in jail. And watching my hometown and seeing the despicable condition it's in, the park, Wells Park, which is ironically named after you, is now just a poop hole. I don't want to cuss. And I'm not here because it's election season. I'm here because I used to love the city of El Cajon. I still have my mother here, which we are desperately trying to get her out. She's not safe here. She can't go to Walgreens to pick up her prescription without being attacked and harassed and followed and mugged. She was attempted to get mugged twice after she was mugged at the laundromat. You can't walk after dark in the city. I was on the Nextdoor app and just saw story after story after story of of people that are born and raised here. This is their hometown. Their kids cannot go to the parks and play. Their kids cannot go outside and go for a walk. My mother-in-law moved in with me when we lived on Ivory, and she could not go for a walk in broad daylight. She was followed and almost attacked. This is sad. It's sad that my hometown has come to this. I did come to your town hall meetings. I went to Mr. Kalasho's town hall meetings. And I really think that all politics need to go aside. And you need to care about the residents, the taxpayers, the homeowners, and the people that were born and raised and love this city more than you do the homeless, the drugs, the crime. And yes, I agree with this man. Quit driving away our police officers. They are going to better cities where they are not underpaid and overworked. And they are protecting the other cities, Encinitas, Carlsbad. They don't look like El Cajon. You don't drive down any of their back alleys and see what you see on Walter Way and at Wells Park. You can go to any park in any of those cities and let your children play. Not in El Cajon. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
We have no more cards, sir.
That's that.